Hello, friends. Welcome to Story Speak English. Today, we begin a very special story called The Clockmaker's Secret. This is the story of an old clockmaker who builds a clock that doesn't tell time, but shows people their happiest memories. Are you ready? Let's start, and remember, repeat the new vocabulary words with me. The Clockmaker's Secret. The Quiet Village. In a quiet village at the edge of green hills, there lived an old man who was known as the Clockmaker. His hands were thin and wrinkled, but his eyes still shone with the spark of youth. Every day he sat in his little workshop, surrounded by the ticking and chiming of clocks. Some clocks were tall and heavy, others small and delicate. The villagers often came to him to fix their broken clocks, and he always worked with patience and care. Vocabulary. Village, a small town in the countryside. Clockmaker, a person who makes or repairs clocks. Wrinkled, skin with lines from age workshop. A small room where someone works with tools delicate. Light, thin, or easily broken patience, the ability to stay calm while waiting. A strange dream. One night, the clockmaker had a dream. In his dream, he saw a clock that did not measure hours or minutes. Instead, the face of the clock glowed with pictures of laughter, smiles, and beautiful moments from people's lives. When he woke up, his heart was beating fast. He whispered to himself, "Time is not only hours. Time is made of memories." That morning, he decided to build the clock from his dream. Vocabulary. Dream. Images or thoughts during sleep. Measure. To count or show amount glow. To shine with soft light. Whisper. To speak very softly. Memories. Things we remember from the past. The Secret Project. The old man began working on his secret project. He used the finest wood and the clearest glass he could find. For many days he cut, polished, and shaped the pieces. But the magic of the clock did not come from wood or glass. The clockmaker believed it needed something more, the warmth of human feeling. He worked late into the night, sometimes falling asleep at his table with tools still in his hands. Vocabulary. Project. Special work. Someone is doing. Finest, best, or highest quality polished, made smooth and shiny shaped, formed into a design. Warmth. Heat, or the feeling of kindness. Visitors in the workshop. While he worked, villagers often peeked into his workshop. "What are you making, old man?" they asked. The clockmaker smiled but gave no answer. He wanted the clock to remain a secret until it was finished. Children sometimes gathered outside, listening to the sound of his tools. They wondered if he was building a magical machine. The clockmaker only chuckled quietly and continued his work. Vocabulary. Peeked, looked quickly or secretly, remain, to stay the same. Gathered, came together in one place. Magical, full of mystery or wonder, chuckled, laughed softly. The first test. Finally, after weeks of work, the clock was ready. It was not like any other clock in the world. The face was clear like water, and inside it, light moved gently. The clockmaker placed his hand on it, and suddenly, the glass showed a picture of his youth, running in fields, holding his mother's hand, laughing freely. His eyes filled with tears. "It works," he whispered. "It shows memories." Vocabulary. Ready, finished or prepared. Clear, easy to see through. Gently, softly, with care. Youth, the time of being young. Tears, drops of water from the eyes, sharing with the villagers. The next day, the clockmaker invited a villager to try it. A young woman placed her hand on the clock. The glass lit up and showed the day she held her baby for the first time. Her eyes widened in surprise, and tears rolled down her cheeks. This is my happiest memory," she said. The news spread quickly. Soon, everyone wanted to see their memories in the magical clock. Vocabulary. Invited. Asked someone to come. Lit up became bright baby, a very young child. Surprise, something unexpected spread, moved from one person to another, a line outside the shop. Within days, a line formed outside the clockmaker's little shop. Farmers, some saw weddings, some saw childhood games, others saw moments with loved ones they had lost. The clock gave them joy, but sometimes sadness too. Yet everyone left with softer hearts, remembering that life was more than money or time. Life was made of precious moments. Vocabulary. Line. A row of people-waiting travelers, people who move from place to place, weddings, ceremonies when people marry loved ones, family or close friends, precious, very special and valuable. The greedy merchant. But not everyone came with pure hearts. One day, a rich merchant entered the shop. He wore golden rings and a proud smile. "Old man," he said, "sell me this clock. I will give you more gold than you can carry." The clockmaker shook his head. "This clock is not for sale. It is meant to bring memories, not money." The merchant grew angry and left, but his eyes burned with greed. Vocabulary. Merchant, a person who buys and sells things. Proud, feeling very good about yourself. Sell, to give something for money. Greed, wanting too much of something, like money burned, felt strong emotion, like anger or desire. The night of the theft. That night, the merchant returned in secret. He broke into the workshop and stole the clock. Carrying it to his large house, he locked the doors and placed the clock in front of him. "Now," he said, "I will see all the treasures of life." He placed his hand on the glass, but instead of happiness, the clock showed him his life of greed. Deals where he cheated others, people he had hurt, friends he had betrayed. The merchant screamed and covered his eyes, but the clock would not stop. Vocabulary. Theft, stealing something. Broke into, entered by force. Stole, took without permission. Treasures, very valuable things. Betrayed, broke trust, hurt someone's loyalty. The clock returns. The next morning, villagers found the merchant running through the streets, pale and terrified. "Take it back," he cried, leaving the clock outside the workshop. "It only shows me pain." The clockmaker picked it up gently and placed it back inside. He understood the truth. The clock did not only show joy, it showed the heart as it truly was. For kind people, it revealed happiness. For selfish people, it revealed regrets. Vocabulary. Pale, without color in the face. Terrified, very afraid. Revealed, showed clearly selfish, caring only about yourself. Regrets, sadness about mistakes in the past. The clock of memories. The villagers began to gather around the glowing clock in the shop. Each person who looked into its shining face saw something different. One woman saw her wedding day, full of laughter and music. A young man saw the day he first learned to fish with his father. An old soldier saw his friends smiling around a campfire. The clock did not show time. It showed joy. Vocabulary. Gather, come together, glowing, shining brightly, laughter, happy sounds, campfire, fire made outdoors. The man who was always sad. Among the villagers was a man who was always sad. He never smiled, no matter how beautiful the day was. People called him gloomy. He stepped forward and looked into the clock. At first his face was empty, but then his eyes filled with tears. He saw his mother's face when she held him as a baby. He had forgotten that moment, but the clock reminded him of love. For the first time in years, he smiled. Vocabulary. Gloomy, always sad, empty, nothing inside reminded, made someone remember, the rich merchant's visit news of the magical clock spread quickly. A rich merchant came from another town. He wore rings of gold and spoke proudly. "Old man," he said, "sell me this clock. I will pay you any price." The clockmaker shook his head. "This clock is not for sale," he replied gently. "It does not belong to me. It belongs to the memories of people. Vocabulary: merchant, businessman proudly, with too much self-respect, price, cost, belong, to be owned by the merchant's anger. The merchant grew angry. "Everything has a price," he shouted. "I can buy anything with money." But when he looked into the clock, he saw nothing. The face of the clock was dark. He banged his fist on the table. "Why does it not work for me?" he demanded. The old clockmaker answered softly, "Because you care more about gold than joy. The clock only shows those who value love and happiness." Vocabulary: demanded, asked with force, fist, closed hand, value, think something is important, joy. Happiness. Children in the workshop. Every evening, children gathered at the clockmaker's shop. They asked him to tell stories about the clocks he made. He spoke of gears, springs, and ticking hands. But when he spoke of the magical clock, their eyes grew wide. They loved to imagine what memories they might see when they grew older. The old man would smile and say, "One day, the clock will show you your happiest times. Until then, create moments worth remembering." Vocabulary: gears, small wheels in a machine, springs, coiled metal pieces. Imagine, think of something in your mind, worth, having value, the secret revealed. One night, a young boy stayed behind after everyone left. He asked, "Master, how did you make this magical clock?" The old man's eyes twinkled. "I will tell you my secret," he said. "This clock is built not only with wood and gears, but also with heart. I made it after I lost my wife. I could no longer see her, but I wanted to remember her smile. That's when the idea came, to make a clock that keeps joy alive." Vocabulary: twinkled, shined brightly, secret, hidden truth, alive, living, idea, thought or plan, the stormy night. One stormy night, lightning flashed across the sky. The clockmaker's shop shook from the wind. Suddenly, the magical clock stopped glowing. The villagers ran in fear. "What has happened?" they cried. The clockmaker placed his hand on the clock and whispered, "Do not fear. Memories cannot die. The clock is only resting." His calm voice made everyone quiet. Slowly, the clock began to shine again, brighter than before. Vocabulary: lightning, bright flash in the sky, fear, being afraid, resting, sleeping, calm, peaceful, the passing of time. Years passed, and the clockmaker grew older. His hair turned white and his hands trembled when he worked. But he never stopped repairing clocks. One morning, the villagers found the shop closed. The old man had passed away peacefully in his sleep. Yet the magical clock still glowed in the window, reminding everyone of his love and wisdom. Vocabulary: trembled, shook, peacefully, calmly, wisdom, knowledge of life, remind, make someone remember. The legacy lives on. The villagers decided to protect the clock forever. They placed it in the center of the town so everyone could see their happiest memories. Parents brought children, and children brought friends. Travelers came from far away to see it. The clock became more than wood and gears. It became a treasure of the village, a reminder that true wealth is not in gold, but in moments of joy. Vocabulary: protect, keep safe, forever, for all time, treasure, something valuable reminder, something that makes you remember, subscribe speech, 1 to 2 minutes. Hello, friends. Thank you for listening to The Clockmaker's Secret. This story teaches us a very powerful lesson. True wealth is not in gold, but in moments of joy. If you enjoyed this story and learned new vocabulary, then don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Story Speak English. On this channel, you will find many more inspiring stories that will help you learn English step by step, with simple words and clear practice. So, join me again next time for another beautiful story. Until then, remember, be honest, be kind, and always treasure the joyful moments in your life.